Yeah, making a video. I'm having an awkward day. But, what else is news? Ugh, life is just so weird. Anyway, so the subject is this idea of we don't know enough. Yeah, I know, I've been in there and done that. So maybe I'll have something new to add. Uh, so, so historically, you can just look at it as, okay, we can see our evolution, we can see the evolution of our discovery of reality. And it was really basic stuff, the world's not flat, okay. Solar system, further out stars, suns, and then we finally did the evolution thing. And we know that philosophers were, thousands of years ago pondering the function of life. The kind of inventing the word futility, that it is kind of, ooh, is that all it does? It's kind of messy, kind of sloppy, not too efficient in terms of its disposal of the organism, its treatment of the organism. And then they got religion, and so they bought into the mumbo jumbo for thousands of years as the dominant philosophy. And then along came Darwin, or at least the Darwin family, and the scientists who finally proved evolution. They speculated about it for a while, but Darwin finally put the evidence together and said, look, it's kind of obvious. We've done all these breeding experiments. We can see how we can control animals, change their look and appearance rather completely. And we can also see how evolution in the world, the animals, and we can just figure it out over time. This is what's happening. And we can look at the geology, island formation, like in the Galapagos. We can see that this is a very slow process, and that over long periods of time, this is what will happen. Things will change. They will reshape, as we have done. Our useless things like the appendix and whatnot. We can just look at our own biology and find inefficiencies in the fact that we're still in the process of being molded. There is no there's no complexity to the overlying truth, the big truths. They're kind of simple big truths. The periodic table, a limited number of elements, and the fact that compounds, that the elements have a character, and that you mix those characters together, and you get this huge variety of compound formation, and that this is all this life stuff is based on this one replicating molecule, billions of years ago, and it's just evolution. That's the big fact. And so the idea that there's another big fact waiting to be discovered that somehow is out there. And the answer people will give you when you challenge them to, provide the fact or something like it, they just say, well, I can't provide it because, yes, it's still an unknown. And it's always going to be a surprise. Well, it's not always going to be a surprise. Like I said, evolution wasn't really a surprise. People just hadn't proven it. They had talked about it, but they just hadn't proven it. People probably talked about a round Earth, and it just took a while before they sailed around it and proved it. So you should be able to give me an inkling of what you think the next big truth will be. And I just don't see how it could possibly be relevant to what we know the story to be so far. How you could possibly come up with a big truth that in any way is going to make what we do know different. How you're going to change the facts that we do know. That we're functionally, basically, an organism, not unlike a salmon, that we're compelled by desires to swim the stream of our life to satisfy the compulsions. To satisfy, for the salmon, it's pretty simple. It's just about food, basically, for most of their life. They just hunt in the ocean. try to get enough food to get enough size, and then they're compelled to swarm together. Something inside of them says, do this, become a school, and then as a school, swarm your way up a stream, the stream of your birth, to redo the process, to create the new desire machine, the new model. And so we're just new modeling over and over and over and over again, infinitum, theoretically, just redoing the same war, replaying the same war over and over and over and over again to declare an arbitrary winner and an arbitrary loser. So now the new design is bigger and taller, and then it'll get too big and too tall, and then short and squat will be the new modification. And then that'll get too short and too squat, and so then big and tall again. And it'll just keep migrating between too big and too small, too fat, too skinny. It'll just keep reflexing this stupid muscle, and to accomplish nothing, to get nowhere, but to create this model year. So what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with evolution? Again, mechanical force, mechanical device, compelled by desire. Yes, we're much more eccentric in what we're swimming for. We have a more complex ego, a more complex way of gaining our satisfaction. It's defined more complexly. Everybody's pinky must be in the right position, and we must sip our tea without making too much noise, and blah blah blah. We have a different kind of peacock feather, but it's still peacock feathers. Still the same gameplay, the same do your path walking, obtain your Pac-Man PowerPoints to get to your little pots of gold that'll last about a week, and then you'll be saying, where you'll be looking again for something more, something bigger, something better, because you're made to be a machine that swims, a machine that plays the game. Clearly, you're designed to play, and all there is this little accident of the noise the game has made, where we can do this abstract thought and step outside of our condition, step outside of our salmonness, and observe the play and say, what is it? What is its nature? And we can answer the question. Its nature is consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, addiction. Its nature is gladiator war, to declare a fake victory, a fraud of a victory anyway, in the sense that the victory will cost more than it's worth. That's all there is. And if you try to clean it up, it's like there's no way to do that. It's like trying to take the suffering out of all of our pleasures. They all contain some element of this carnage. And if you take away the carnage, you take away the competition, you take away the bloodlust. And people won't find it tasty. That'll take the flavor out of their meal. And that's the nature of the animal, is beastly. Another one of these facts you're not going to contextualize with any new information. The universe knows we're here, and it cares, and it thinks there's something going on. We're just the embryos of something great and magnificent. Yeah, right. It's not in the cards. It's not in the machinery. It's not in the foundation of the mechanics. So now we're sort of crashing back into the thing I often talk about, is the fact that intelligence has no function without a mess to clean up. Intelligence is a tool for fixing problems. And if there are no problems, intelligence has nothing to do. So this very idea that our intelligence is going to go somewhere, or that it has some pinnacle to reach in terms of all knowledge. And all knowledge will just be the recognition that we're salmon, that we're being played by a DNA molecule, and that it was a need that didn't need to be created. Our need to swim, our need to feed, our need to play doesn't need to be. And it only creates a mess that intelligence must somehow try to figure out how to umpire, try to figure out how to, in some sort of utilitarian manner, correct for the waste, to try to prevent the Fukushima, prevent the accidents, prevent the harm. And that's all it has as a job, is to find ways to take the price tag and lower it, to reduce how much blood money has to be spent to gain the gratification. That's all intelligence is going to do. Intelligence is going to inform you. The more intelligence you get, the more you're going to see that the only function of intelligence is to inform you that the simple solution is not to make messes. Don't break it, and your intelligence won't have to fix it. There's no good game to play because the universe has no built-in game-playing mechanism. It doesn't need. You need. You're the creator of the problem that needs resolution, that needs satisfaction. Any perception of purpose and accomplishment and function is just a perception. It's not in the facts. It's not in the truth. The truth is obviously dismal. Replicating molecule using disposable, precious consciousnesses as tools to eccentrically remodel, reform the game players in no direction. There's no direction here. There's nowhere to go. Even our intelligence is kind of a slanted sideways direction. We're the only beasties that fell upon this abstract intelligence because it has no practical utility. It's not a game player's intelligence. Intelligence is essentially a game ender. Intelligence will not give you, knowledge to play the game. It'll give you the knowledge not to. It'll give you the insight to know it's too messy to play with. It's too dangerous a bomb. It's too stupid an addiction. It's too unresolvable a problem because the problem doesn't have any function. There's no purpose in creating it. Likewise, there's no purpose in resolving it through creation of more problems. You can't feed this thing because it'll always eat more than it'll produce. There's just no game to play. I've said it, I'll say it again. You can't create something the universe needs. You can't create an intrinsic good. You can only create something good relative to a bad. You have to have the bad first. You have to have the problem and then the resolution. It's the only way to create a good is to first make something bad. You have to create the negative to manufacture the positive. And there's nothing rational in that behavior. Nothing at all. Oh, anyway, last day, pool gets covered today. Very sad. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Sad, sad. Horrible, horrible. Anyway, till next time. Last day. Damn. Yep. Oh. It's times like this, I wish I lived in Florida or something. I'm going to miss it. See you next year. Bye. Anyway, till next time. And such.